The Football Pod on Off the Ball.
In partnership with AIB.
Proud sponsors of the GAA Senior Football Championship.
Check out #TheToughest for more.
Hello there, and you're very welcome along to the Football Pod with Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue. Apologies, we're a little late this week. The Hurling took centre stage. James, it wasn't with the want of trying. I did attempt to organise recording time on Monday. I had radio silence from you.
How dare you? I was at the desk waiting to go, and I heard
No, you weren't.
I was waiting.
You knocked it on the head, Paddy, very quickly.
I thought Tuesday's better. I enjoyed Sunday. I was at the Hurling. It was incredible and in a bloody good evening. So I'm a little bit fresher today than I was yesterday. So I was very happy for that extra day's grace this week's pod. We have a big week ourselves, lads.
We do.
You know what I mean? We have a lot going on this week.
So we have our free pod today that's going out, previewing the All-Ireland Final. We're announcing our 2 roadshow guests for Thursday night, our sold-out roadshow in Croke Park. I have about 47 DMs to get back to of people looking to sell tickets and 180 DMs from people looking to buy tickets.
Everyone flogging their tickets.
Well, there's plenty of people looking to buy them. So we'll have a full house one way or another. There might be a few less Dublin and Kerry fans and a few extra Armagh and Galway fans. So I will get to you. I've been caught up the last little while following.
That's all right.
So that's Tuesday pod, Wednesday members pod, Thursday sold out roadshow, and on our members pod on Wednesday. This is really important. This is going out tomorrow. We will give you details of how you can go to a secret, exclusive football pod event in an unnamed location on Friday night in Dublin 2 in the city centre with a current inter-county footballer joining Paddy and James on Friday night. So it won't be an Armagh footballer and it won't be a Galway footballer, but we have a big name joining us.
A big star. Safe to say it's a big star joining us. Well done, T. Fair play to you for getting them in.
An absolute star. Yeah, and so AIB bringing them on the road not once, but twice this week. I'd say we could have done a Taylor Swift. We could have sold Croke Park out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night out, but we said we do it a little different. We do Thursday night.
We could have done the merch stadium as well. Where does she put all the merchandise? And she sell out somewhere there as well.
Oh, the Three Arena,
The Three Arena, just of t-shirts.
Yeah, well, we'll put the Aviva for football pod hats.
I might need a wish. I might need a wish version of James and Paddy to take over the pod then on another night. I don't know if you'd have 3 nights in a row, witchy. So the details I'm going to give it on the members pod, right? And this is important. On the members pod, it's going to go out tomorrow at, let's say, 12:30.
Lunchtime.
The first 10 football pod members, off the ball members, who email me with proof of their membership and a request to go to that exclusive event will be granted a +1 to join us on Friday night. So that's 20 people. Anyone else who emails in, who may see it a little later, may see it on social media, anyone else who emails in after that cutoff point will be added into a hat, and we will have 10 more +1s to give away. So it'll be 40 Football Pod fans, and that's it. Football Pod members, and that's it. Joining us on the night.
An intimate screening.
Yeah, and then
is that going to be like that draw for tickets that was going around online there a while ago, a couple of days ago? The old fella with
the loud referees.
He had his own ticket in his hand. That was all-time classic.
It's certainly.
I feel like
it's my name. Oh, it's me. What a surprise!
Even your man doing the draw ended up winning too.
Wrong here, lads. Jesus Christ! Yeah, this is very convoluted, T. But listen, we've a great guest. So it'll be a good night. Both nights, Croke will be good, and the unnamed venue will also be very good.
It will be very good. So we're not naming the guest, we're not naming the venue. Tomorrow we're giving you a chance for any Football Pod members to get involved and get there. For anyone looking for tickets, DM the Football Pod for Thursday night. You won't be able to get tickets for Friday night unless you're a member and you email me. But if you want tickets for Thursday night, DM me and I will try and put you in touch with another Football Pod fan who can't make it on Thursday night now. They bought their tickets back in early June. We'll forgive them. Things can happen. So, Thursday night in Croke Park, we have got 2 legends of the game joining us. On the Armagh side, one of the finest forwards we ever saw in the noughties. An absolute horse of a man who could do anything in attack. He really was. Stevie McDonald is joining us on the stage.
Oh,
James, you've been
A
watching.
little bit of
That's a good
stardust there.
You've been looking at a couple of YouTube videos. I know David Clifford was talking to us. Remember that the lovely piece we did, David and Paddy and James Reedy's back in the day. He was talking
Yeah.
about watching
David
Armagh
Clowney.
games during lunch break or during class. I don't know when he was doing it. But you've been looking at a few of those Armagh games in the last couple of weeks as well, haven't you?
Yeah, they were class. I was looking at I just stumbled across them when Kerry were playing Armagh. I watched a couple of those games. They were unbelievable because Armagh had that diagonal ball down to a T
Yeah.
to Stephen McDonald.
Bang it in.
And Clark full forward. They were just, and Kerry were doing the same thing with Donaghy. It was just a game of diagonal balls, and it was so dangerous. There was no fluting around with hand passing or safety. It was like, get the ball into the boys, and they were winning it and just class scores, like throwing it over the shoulder, making space for each other and kicking points. Serious original footballers. That was great to see. So he's going to be a great guest.
Such a good team. Our second guest joining us on Thursday night. And I'm really excited about this because this is a man who has had such an interesting career with Galway. He's featured in a year till Sunday. He actually broke his leg early in the year that year. He lost his position. He comes back on into the team later on. He ends up playing number 6 later in his career. He's the inverse of a Paddy Andrews, a forward at the start, marking Kieran MacDonald in a Connacht Championship game as a number 6 towards the end. It's the opposite way he went.
Why would he go back? Never go back. Never go back.
We saw Tony Kelly's goal at the weekend. We're going to talk about that in a second. The bit of magic we saw. Probably one of the greatest goals in an All-Ireland final we've ever seen in Croke Park. Well, this fella, this man who's joining us, played the greatest pass before the greatest goal, I reckon, ever scored in an All-Ireland football final. Paul Clancy, first of all, the Galway defenders, Kevin Watson catches it under the crossbar. It's against Kerry. The move breaks out. Donlan goes on the run, gives it to Joyce. Joyce finds Paul Clancy, our guest on Thursday night, who spins, doesn't look, and finds one of his best buddies, Declan Meehan, on the run, and Meehan roofs it into the top corner. An unbelievable goal in the year 2000. Paul Clancy, Stephen MacDonald, 2 legends, joining Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue on the Football Pod on Thursday night.
Good stuff,
Can't beat it.
Credit where it's
Can't
due.
beat it.
You've done well. You've done well there.
We've had an
Like I say-
unbelievable record of guests, to be fair. Every guest has just been top quality, like,
You're magic.
and delivered on the night as well, which is important.
You know what the best thing is, James? They all want to be there. They're looking forward to talking to the 2 of you. That's
Yeah, and they're fucked.
that's
This
the
is
key.
absolute spoof merchant of the fucking highest order here.
I'm telling you, right?
Still.
So that's the crack. That is
But
the
you know
plan for
what?
Football Pod
With
this week.
those, both of those lads, the teams they were on, very interesting. Obviously, Steve McDonald, they only won the one All-Ireland, which is incredible. Considering that Armagh team, I know Tyrone come on the scene, and Kerry were always knocking around. There was a brilliant Kerry team around then as well. I always thought Armagh probably should have won more than one. I think in 2004. Who could Fermanagh catch them in 2004? Who knocked them out?
Yeah,
Kerry win it in the end, obviously, to beat Mayo.
I think you're right.
Um,
Tyrone
and
got
then
them in 3.
Paul Clancy, we had to get someone from a year till Sunday. Someone who featured in that. John O'Mahony will tell us stories about him. Galway's last 2 All-Ireland. So it's good stuff, T. I have to say. Fair play to you. You mentioned that. Bag.
Yeah, you mentioned that Armagh team, like the 2000 semi-finals.
Tyrone, 05. What a match.
99 semi-finals too, right? And then in 01 in the All-Ireland quarter-final. It's locked at 12 points apiece. Galway get them. And who scores
Donlan.
the winning point in injury time?
Clancy.
Michael Donlan.
Clancy.
Come
Is it
on.
Clancy?
Donaghu gets
Jimmy,
it.
you've been doing your homework.
3-pointer.
It was
Have you done any
studying
work
the
in
good
last
old
week?
days. They were the good old days of football as well, like, you know, from
From proper
2000 up to 2010. Classic. Just pure attack. Even I heard Tony Kelly talking about hurling when he started playing, and he was like, he'd see clips of himself. He'd almost be ashamed of him baiting the ball down 60 yards to nobody. But that was just the way they played. Just long balls, giving it away. No problem. Once we lose it down there, we lose it. And they were still racking up huge scores. Same in football, really. The ball wasn't as
mind the ball phrase, Jimmy, that you hate. That wasn't invented back then. Let the ball in.
Those 3 words were never put together in that sequence.
Whoever brought them on the scene has ruined football.
I forgot to mention, I actually, on Saturday, attended one of the sandbox games for Jim Gavin and the Football Review Committee. So, Eamon Fitzmaurice, James Horan, Colin Nally, all the members of the Football Review Committee, Jim Gavin, Seamus Kenny from Meath, Shane Flanagan from Kildare, Colin Collins. They were all there to watch Aero take on Clontarf in the new rules. The referees, with the lines umpires. We were in Cusack Park. They were actually testing the tannoy system in the Fair Green, getting ready for the homecoming at the time. So it was a little bit surreal.
Have you slept? Have you slept in the last week? Like,
I'll sleep in August.
You're pure showbiz. You're pure showbiz.
So I'll be bringing you a little bit on that. I'm not going to talk about it now because there's a lot going on. Maybe the week after the All-Ireland Football Final, I'll bring you some of the interviews from that, some of the rules, some of the fallout. But one of the big things come out of it is that they're bringing back the Railway Cup, and it's going to be televised later this year from Croke Park. They're going to play the new rules, Railway Cup. Don't give me that snarl, James. Don't do that.
Absolute waste of time.
No. Get out of Dodge.
Huh? Jimmy, you need a growth mindset. You need to be open to these ideas.
Okay.
It's not a good idea.
Shut up, James. James, shut
Who
up.
decided to bring that
James,
back?
I've no time for that. I've no time for that. The Railway Cup is coming back, and I want it back.
Very
right.
negative.
Who are Dublin going to release onto the Leinster team? Who are Kerry going to release onto the Munster team? I'll tell you who. Fucking nobody.
Well, that's a shame.
They'll have to go 13 aside.
And look at Dublin and Kerry this year. Look at the stadiums now. Look at you.
Get off your high horse. Just as Clare won the All-Ireland, now you're doing your full fucking transfer over.
Yeah. Paddy,
the whole main team is going to be the Leinster team.
I am a meat man. Paddy, just before we get to Galway Armagh, we start our build up here. You were in a lovely seat in the Hogan stand. You were a banner man all evening. I heard you roaring up the banner.
I was supporting the banner, I have to say, yeah.
You took a great photo with the final whistle and
that was unbelievable, yeah.
Martin
Barnett coming on.
Martin O'Leary and his mates were hanging over the rafters, and he's from Ballyea, actually. He plays with Tony Kelly, and he actually played.
Oh, does he?
Right. So
I don't know if security were too happy with the Clare fans basically climbing up the stands just to get a look at the presentation, but it was some buzz. Jesus, obviously looked at what a game, incredible, what a finish. Tony Kelly, the absolute bit of magic. I was watching when the goal went in. I was actually in behind the Ard Corley when the goal went in. Over the head.
What was the
reaction
in there? In the
there was actually just applause. There was even Cork supporters. That was genius. You love sport. We absolutely love sport. Obviously, football's our main passion. But when you see superstars perform and doing, just executing incredible skill on the highest stage, under the biggest pressure. I know Cork fans won't particularly thank me for it, but what a pleasure to see that. Like, it's incredible. You just hope we're in there on Sunday and you see the likes of whoever it might be, whether it's Shane Walsh, whether it's Rian O'Neill, just moments of magic. This is elite sportsmen at the absolute pinnacle doing take your breath away stuff. And like, there were so many moments in that game. It was an incredible spectacle, but I was fortunate enough. Final whistle, obviously Cork probably should have had a free with the last puck of the game, but what drama, literally till the final whistle, 90 minutes in, the reaction, the outpouring, you do love to see. I'm not affiliated with Cork or Clare, but just that spectacle was one of the best things I've seen. Some of the moments of the game were spectacular. It was good stuff.
All the goals were just a different level.
Yeah.
Like Downey's goal, in fairness,
runs the pitch. It's like the mini leagues.
Yeah, the pace he showed. No, the fella running after him was losing some serious ground. The further it went down.
Poor Peter Duggan but Duggan came up trumps.
Was it Duggan chasing? Yeah. But no, I thought Tony Kelly's goal was obviously unbelievable. But the goal that Shane O'Donnell assisted was for
that's Aidan McCarthy's. That's when Clare 8 points down and he plays a 1-2 with Duggan. Yeah,
even to win that ball. The hips he showed to win that ball, like pure natural. Then the strength to keep taking men on, even though there was 3 around him. Get the hand pass off. I thought Shane O'Donnell is just unbelievable. I love him. I think he's class.
James, I was afraid to come to you on the hurling, given your answer on the Railway Cup, but that's nicely put. Let's now move on.
Back on the positivity train.
Let's
just say, Tom, the Railway Cup.
I'm not lingering on this. I'm not getting lost in it. We don't have time. We're on Zoom today because you couldn't update your Chrome.
That's because you apologies if Railway Cup and you don't like.
Jesus Christ.
Apologies if the audio quality is a little less than you're used to on the football pod this week. James's Chrome would not update, so we couldn't use our usual platform that we've been recording on.
Absolute shambles.
Usually,
Yeah,
it used to be
we have
Paddy.
not been provided with suitable technologies.
For the first 3 seasons of the football pod, Paddy Andrews struggled. Every evening we
Hey,
recorded, you struggled. But
I'm
in the
good.
last year, Paddy,
All
you have
year, I've
stepped
been
up.
top of the pops there. Yeah,
You have
never an
transformed.
issue.
Yeah, so James, we got to work on
Yeah.
that. Okay, let's move on because it is
A
5
tech
days.
guru, a tech guru. Jimmy's an
5
absolute
days.
mare.
5 days till Sunday. Tomorrow and off the ball, you'll be able to hear.
Enough for the hurling.
build-up
Fuck the
from
hurling.
Armagh.
It was great. It's football time now.
You'll be able to hear the build up from Galway. I caught up with Porrick Joyce. I caught up with Rob Finnerty. A really interesting interview. James, we might talk about that off air. Nice little back and forth with Rob Finnerty. Just gonna say, if Rob kicks the winner on his right foot, you may be to thank for that one. And
I would have had a say in the destination of Sam.
let's keep that in the back.
That's
pocket.
you, Jimmy. That's your brand. That's your brand.
And we'll hear from John Concannon as well. Galway selector has been soldiering with Joyce and a good friend of Joyce's over the years, played with Galway back in the day. So that's coming up. But what I want to talk to you about is where you think Sunday's All-Ireland final will be won and lost. Tommy Walsh, in our build-up at the weekend, spoke about the need to not let a game as big as an All-Ireland final pass you by. He's a man who's won plenty. Same as you, Paddy. What can the players do on Sunday when the ball is thrown in to ensure that it doesn't pass them by? Because not many players from Clare and Cork allowed it to pass them by at the weekend, to be fair to them.
Yeah, look, it's got to be frantic. You know, the same as the hurl last week. There's got to be so little between these teams. We said it. They played each other, 6 weeks ago, the championship? It was a draw. Last year in the group stages, Armagh by a point, last kick of the game. The year before, a draw. You know, there's so little, and you expect it at this stage of the championship. We said it last week, and kind of praising both Galway and Armagh to get to this point. They've been the best teams when it mattered most over the last 4 or 5 weeks. But this game is going to be a titanic tussle. I hope we get some of the entertainment and the drama that we see in the hurling final. I think this is going to be cagey, I have to say. I was pleasantly surprised with Armagh's approach, and I think it was key in the semi-final to actually beat Kerry, that there is an element of throwing the shackles off about them. They're still obviously very tactically astute. They're still very difficult to play against. Those have always been key strengths in McGeady's teams, and a credit to the players. But the game is going to be so tight. How do you get yourself into the game, particularly in the forward line? Because there's going to be so little space on either side. Just work your arse off. You know, we used to always say a couple of tackles can nearly get you into the game. I know it's not the cornerstone or maybe the stuff you enjoy doing most, but like, this game is going to be attritional. The physicality of both teams, the fitness, the organisation, like they are built on very, very strong foundations, both teams. And that's why I expect it to be, I hope I'm wrong, but I expect it to be cagey enough. But if you're thinking, how do we get in? You know, the first 2 or 3 minutes, just get a possession, just pop it off, get yourself into the game by just working your backside off. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities for both teams to do that. So it's, you'd be amazed. You can win a turnover, you can force a free, anything like that. That gets you into the game. Of course, you'd love if you're Shane Walsh or you're Brian O'Neill or Roisin Connolly or these guys, that you get a lovely one at the top of the D, just to pop one over the first minute or two. Beautiful. But the reality is that probably won't be happening for the first few minutes of this game. But it is we said last week, it's a unique final for both sides. I know Galway were there 2 years ago, a long time, obviously, since Armagh have been there. But like I say, the form both these teams have shown over the last 3-4 weeks, when it has mattered most, they are there on merit. But there is so little between these sides. I can see this. Nearly, I know we made the joke about it watching the club championship games last year. You can turn this on with 10 minutes to go and watch, because there's going to be so little between them. But it is set up for a titanic tussle. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Do you know, when you're talking about the game kind of passing you by, I think the way the game is played now, I think there's less chance of that happening, because I said the attacks are slower. You're guaranteed to get more touches on the ball, even if they're not as dangerous as maybe you would have got before. But you're kind of constantly in the game no matter what. You've got your defensive place to be. You've got your attacking spot to be. You're probably getting a lot of hand passes. The attacks are slow. Whereas a couple of years ago, the ball could be pinged around. And if you're not 100% tuned in to receiving or getting off the shoulder, the game can pass you by very quickly, because it's kind of, it can just go over your head. Like playing the half forward line there, at times the ball can go over your head and suddenly you haven't got a touch in 20 minutes. I don't think that happens as much anymore. But I think what's interesting about this matchup is that there probably isn't a favourite. Like both sides, based on the evidence of the last couple of games against each other, they will both be saying inside in their camps, if we play to our capability, we will win. Do you know, like they'll be going through the video of the other games against each other, and they'll be saying, we did this wrong, we did that wrong, we should have been so much better here. If we get those right, we'll win. So I think that's kind of a powerful message for a manager to give to the players. If you do this right, you will win. And like, whenever I used to get that message, I was like, yeah, do you know, if we're all actually on it here, we will. Because there's always times where you're deep in your soul, you know that maybe the opposition has an edge on you. I don't think either side is going to think that in this instance. It is a case of play to your max, play to your team's potential, play to your individual potential. You will win this All-Ireland. Like, you will have Sam Maguire at the front of the bus going home. Like, so I just think that's powerful for them.
There were so many, and I know hurling it's so different to football, but there were so many battles on Sunday that were edge going one way and then the swing the other way. The momentum swung back and forth throughout the game. But there was also so many players who nearly seized the moment or just about seized the moment or who did seize the moment. Like Rob Downey, as you mentioned, Mark Rodgers taking on that goal, Tony Kelly doing what he does. Like the different Cork players that had an unbelievable impact at times. When you look at the Armagh and Galway sides, and I'm going to ask you each now for a key battleground where you think this game can be won and lost in a minute. But like, who is going to seize the moment this weekend? Is it going to be Turbot? Is it going to be Walsh? Is it going to be Comer? Is it going to be Rian O'Neill? Is Aidan Forker going to come up? Is Barry McCambridge going to score again? Is he going to do an unbelievable man-marking job once more? Like on the Galway side, what's Dylan McHugh going to produce this weekend? Liam Silk, Paul Conroy, Matthew Tierney. There's so much quality on show from both sides. Soupy Campbell coming in off the bench. Is Connerty going to turn around and actually deliver on the scoreboard as he had been up to the last weekend? There's potential match winners all over the field on both sides on Sunday.
No, there isn't. Go on, Paddy, sorry.
No, I was just saying that we've seen so many times in All-Ireland finals, it's not necessarily the superstars that decide it. I know the last time Galway were in the final, we did have Clifford for Kerry and Shane Walsh for Galway put on a tour de force for both of them. That's quite rare. It's incredible to see. We were all there that day. It was an amazing spectacle. But it can sometimes, or actually more often than not, be maybe a lesser known star who has the major impact on the game. And you mentioned some guys there. McHugh was obviously having an outstanding year for Galway and what he brings, not just to their offence, but their attack. Barry Cambridge, probably looking at picking up Shane Walsh, you would say, possibly Cover. But you do a job. We seen it in last year's final with Fitzsimons on Clifford. It might necessarily be defensive plays that are the game breakers here. You know, yeah, we'd love to see Rian O'Neill score 10 points and Shane Walsh and those two guys have a shootout. The way both teams are set up, that's probably unlikely. You know, but with that, the battlegrounds around the pitch, the matchups, like I say, there's so little between these sides. It is fascinating to look at it. But if you're saying a key area, I'm looking forward to see. I just think around the middle third, the way both teams go for kickouts. Armagh have a brilliant press when they go with it. They don't do it for every play, but you know, Conor Gleeson he's answered a lot of critics at different stages throughout the season, but they will, without doubt, try and nick a few of his kickouts. And we said it last week, if Galway go long, why wouldn't you? You've got Conroy, Tierney, you know, Johnny Marr, Comer coming out. But on the Armagh side, they've been outstanding, Grimley and Ben Creeley. And then you've Rian O'Neill coming out there as well. So that battleground, we love seeing long kickouts because the reward, if you win it, you are transitioning up the pitch. And that is a key for both of these attacks. If it's slow and it's ponderous, they're both so well set defensively, it'll be very hard for scores to come by. And obviously, from our point of view, the neutral, as a spectacle, that ain't great. You know, if you start seeing long kickouts and somebody starts winning that battleground, because they're both very strong around that area of the pitch, all of a sudden you could be up the pitch in 4 or 5 seconds. And now there's a massive chance for Shane Walsh, for Connerty, for Turbot, and these guys to have the impact because they're going to get one-on-one. So that's, I'm fascinated. Both teams do go long, not all the time. Both teams have a good press. They're well organised. But that middle third, if you can get those long kickouts off, and I think both sides are so good. It's going to be hard for one side to dominate the other. But if you can win 3 or 4 of those long kickouts, what an opportunity that gives your attack to get at the opposing defence before they get their 8, 10, 12 bodies back. It's fascinating.
James, I went
I
big
think-
on Armagh's
sorry, Tom.
midfield. Sorry, I went big on
Yeah.
Armagh's midfield before. I want to get to your background in a second, but I went big before the Kerry game on Armagh's midfield. Kerry didn't really go long, but Galway are going long. Like Paddy is saying it there.
That's it,
Galway
yeah.
are going long. So I think that's just going to add to this game so much.
I think the long kick out, I think it plays into Galway's hands. I think there's so much size and handling and aerial ability around there that they'll be able to almost stand there and say, come on then, put it up for grabs. That's our baby. Like, we want that. I can't see Armagh doing that. I think Armagh will give up the Galway kick out. I think they'll leave Gleeson take it short. And I don't think they'll be going too long off their own. I hope they do, because it will be a better spectacle. But I think that Galway are too strong in that area.
And what if they give it up, but Gleeson still goes long?
You see, they could, but they'll have all the forwards coming in under the break. Then all they have to do is spoil it. Okay. Sometimes if it's given to you, you have to take it, because otherwise you're outnumbered out under the break. Now, it'd be interesting to see if he still does back himself.
I think he will.
But
I think he will still go.
I think there's definitely times Armagh will push up at his kick out. So maybe if it's not for me only on 3 or 45. Gleeson has had a much better season. I would say.
Maybe staged press, Paddy. Yeah.
Moment in the Connacht final. Yeah, I think there is an opportunity to get after. He's not overly comfortable on the short kickouts. It just happens to be, if Galway didn't have that size and presence that Jimmy's talking about around the middle, they would be under pressure then.
Yes.
But
okay.
It is such a weapon. We've seen them use it against Donegal, particularly in that first half, hitting Tierney, hitting Paul Conroy. And if you get it long, you're transitioning up the pitch in 4 seconds, as opposed to going short. It could take you over a minute to get up there. So it's a hell of a lot better to watch. But I think both teams have such strength out around that part of the pitch. They'll see it as an opportunity.
Okay. James, your key battleground for this Sunday. Now, on our members pod this week, I think I'm actually going to go through the torture of asking you to pick a combined Armagh-Galway 15, because the Sideline Eye podcast did it during the week with Maurice Brosnan, and when they did it, I was like, interesting. So I actually pulled over the car on the way to the Galway press day and picked my team before I listened to it. I asked James to pick it as well. So Paddy, you might actually just officiate between the two teams on the members pod when we do that. So keep that in your back pocket.
I'll mediate.
Okay.
So just give us, without naming names, what's the split on your team?
I don't have it yet.
Don't say 8-7, is it?
13-2.
I don't have it yet.
There's no main lads allowed in this time.
I'll tell you what.
There's 4 Clare hurlers in Tommy's team.
Tommy Kelly's at number 11.
Because we're on Zoom, we have 8 minutes left in this recording. But fear not, we have a football pod on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So anyone who can't make Friday night show as well.
Sick of sight is by Sunday.
Anyone who can't make Thursday night's roadshow, it'll be on Off the Ball's YouTube and in our podcast feed on Friday. And anyone who isn't lucky enough to make our secret exclusive off-air event on Friday night can get it Saturday. It will be recorded and released Saturday. So
very intriguing, this event too on Friday. Jesus.
It is intriguing. So James, 8 minutes left. Give me your key battleground, and then there's a few other little bits we'll tease through.
I suppose my key battleground is in the Armagh full back line. Because first of all, Barry McCambridge didn't start the Ulster final. Like, he has been phenomenal since, but he doesn't have huge experience of marking the big guns on the biggest days. Shane Walsh has history of turning up in All-Ireland finals and kicking outrageous points. If you think about his battle with Tom Sullivan that day in 22, you could argue, and we've had this argument before, I've had it with lots of fellas, some say that the Tom Sullivan couldn't have done any more because Shane was out in front of him, turned, kicked over the shoulder these outrageous points. If McCambridge is on him, I think he'll have a very different day to what he had with Clifford, because Shane Walsh is so comfortable on the wings that he can hang out on the side. He can just get that little bit of separation by McCambridge, obviously a team defender as well. He'll have to step inside. I think Walsh can still get a lot of ball. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Walsh if he goes roaming. Because I think if he stands next to McCambridge might have the physicality to keep him quiet. But if Walsh does go roaming, I think that will play into Comer's hands then as well, because it'll allow Comer to occupy that space a little bit more. So I think the first 5 or 10 minutes will tell an awful lot as to how this game is going to go. Because as we said last week, if Galway can get Comer and Walsh firing together on the same page and both playing, I'd rather see them both play 7 out of 10 than one play 9 out of 10 and the other play 4 out of 10. Like if they both just occupy their defenders and every Armagh defender is looking over their shoulder, where's Comer, where's Walsh, where's Finnerty? I think that's where Galway can win the game. I think definitely the kickouts. If the ball is in the air, I think Galway win that battle. But if they can get it into three boys who are all playing well and at different areas of the field, they can't be on top of each other. Walsh should probably have to go roaming a bit. If they all play well, I think that could be where it's decided in there.
Interesting. I think just looking at the matchups here, I think McCambridge will take Walsh. I think Paddy Burns will likely match up with Rob Finnerty. Aaron McCaden naturally on Comer, with either McGrain covering or sweeping, or maybe pushing up into the half forward line or half back line to pick up somebody else there. Or maybe we'll see a late change in that Armagh defence. I don't know. But that's how the matchups I would see them going. Paddy, just come in there on kind of the attacks there and what way they're going to fall. Because I have one last question before we finish.
Yeah. Like I know we're looking at matchups there, but I think the key strength of both of these teams is their defensive structure. Yes, it's brilliant having those one-to-one battles as well. But we said it so many times. I don't think we're going to see a situation where you're going to see a lot of isolation, those one-to-one battles. I think both teams understand that they have a massive strength in terms of how defensively they're set up. The Kerry-Galway fight from a couple of years ago was very different because Kerry will always play. So there is those spaces for the likes of Shane Watts to have an individual battle with Tom Sullivan. I think it'd be different. I like the sound of those matchups. The same, what did Galway do with Turbot, Rian O'Neill, that danger kind of drifted out around the middle. Is it potentially Johnny Healy or Johnny Barr goes back? He's done a brilliant job on Fenton earlier in the summer. Maybe around the middle third, he'll pick him up if Rian O'Neill goes inside, which he likes to do. Who is it then that drops back into him? Is it Silk? But I think you'll see a lot of interchangeable, just the way both teams play and approach. But I agree with James. I said it for the last couple of weeks. Galway's ceiling, if they're at their absolute optimum, is above Armagh. These played 5 weeks ago now over Markovich Park. Galway were comfortable in that game for large periods of that game. It changes on a short kick out that goes right. Armagh get the goal and end up getting out of there with a draw. But I suppose the unknown or the intangible bit around Armagh is just the momentum that they have in this team now. The resilience that no doubt they've shown coming back from yet another heartache. They still haven't won a big title. And who would have thought that their first one could potentially be the All-Ireland itself over Division 2 or an Ulster title. So that momentum, the buzz around this place on Sunday is going to be incredible. That does count for something. That counts for something. So it's, and Armagh, and I know we're talking a lot about Walsh and Comer and Finnerty. We've got Turbot, Murden, Rian O'Neill, Connaughty. He could be the guy, in a scoring sense. We know there's a lot of unseen work as well. So it is fascinating, but you've got to say if both teams are at their absolute best, you probably edge Galway ahead of Armagh. But we don't know.
You say that.
This one is so tight.
You say that, and I fully understand why you say it. But you look at their last 3 championship games in the last 3 years, and it's penalties. Yeah. It's a point to Armagh. It's a draw earlier this year. So maybe we are due Galway winning by a point. So, Paddy and James, final quick one. Shane O'Donnell and Patrick Horgan both lined out at the weekend after tweaking hammers during the week. I'm sure there was loads of other injuries and ailments that had happened. They both got through the games. For all the injuries and the issues that players have had and teams have had, you'd imagine they'll be patched up, ready to rock, full of adrenaline.
They're going to be playing.
And
the lads are going to be playing.
They will get
100%.
through it. Yeah,
absolutely. 100%.
You can get through one game. You just have to be willing to sacrifice 2 months after. But I mean, you'd sacrifice. There is no life in these players' heads. There is no life after Sunday. They're not thinking of anything else. Their life is only up till Sunday at 6 o'clock or whatever. They're not thinking about anything else. They would give anything for it. They'll be patched up 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Paddy Andrews, James O'Donoghue, we will be talking every single day this week. This is our preview show, our first of the week for the All-Ireland Football Final on Sunday, the 2024 All-Ireland Football Final between Armagh and Galway. Tomorrow on our members pod, we will be picking through some more bits. We'll be looking at a combined 15 and seeing where we get with it. We will give you details on how to make that event on Friday night if you are a Football Pod member. Thursday night roadshow, doors at 6:30 in Croke Park. Floor 6, I think, in the elevator. The details will be there when you enter in the premium entrance for anyone with a ticket.
5T, come on.
Floor 5,
Hogan Suite.
Floor 5, the
Jesus
Hogan Suite,
Christ.
overlooking the Croke Park pitch. It was glorious last year when we had Paul Galvin and Keane Sullivan with us. We had a great night. That's Thursday night. We have Stephen McDonald and Paul Clancy joining us, an Armagh legend and a Galway legend. Doors 6:30, show starts 7:30. We'll be wrapped up and finished before 10 o'clock. Paddy and James, as always, the Football Pod is brought to you by AIB, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship. Check out #Toughest for more. Thanks for joining me. We will maybe have a little pre-roadshow production meeting right now, and we will catch up then on our members pod tomorrow. Thanks, boys.
See you, boys.
Sounds good. Good luck, lads.